On February 14, 2003, a baby entered the world. She was a beautiful, healthy, and clueless young girl. Time passed as this girl was happy and successful even in school. She was an all A and B student, had many friends, was kind and respectful, etc. What could go wrong? Now she's 11 years old. As time passed, she moved a lot, from New York to Alabama to Florida. Now she's in Florida and a 6th grader, and halfway through the school year, her grades start to go down. She couldn't concentrate anymore and had a headache every single day. Not only did she have a headache, but she had stomach pains as well. At this point, she hated herself. The only person that had hope and believed her was her mom. She missed multiple school days for weeks, but on the day she had enough energy to get out of bed and attend school, other classmates would question her absence. They gave her these looks that basically said, "Why were you away for so long? What lie did you make up now?" The lights were now so bright, and it was so loud. When she entered the classroom and signed the attendance sheet, she started to become depressed. No one believed her, and every friend she had left when she got complicated, so what was the point in being happy? Late at night, she would question, "Why me? What did I do to deserve this? Why can't I just be normal again?" Weeks went on as her mother did research on everything. She finally found her daughter a neurologist. In the doctor's office, she was called in. The neurologist looked at her MRI scans and found something. The doctor realized she had Chiari malformation type 1. Chiari malformation is when brain tissue extends into your spinal canal. This is when a part of her skull is abnormally small, then pressing on her brain and forces it downwards. He then broke the news to the mother and daughter, saying the only thing he could do is perform surgery. She couldn't believe it. She never had surgery, barely ever got sick, was normal, and now she had to have brain surgery. She had to get a Chiari malformation decompression. This relieves pressure and gives brain more room by removing small section of bone. She also had hydrocephalus. They thought it was caused by the Chiari. They assumed it would be knocked out with the Chiari after surgery. Months passed. She still has headaches. She then had gotten admitted into the hospital, getting a brain monitor known as a ICP monitor bolt. This then measured her pressure, coming out as normal. Then, when they pulled out the monitor, as the girl was awake, claiming it would be painless, they later found out she had brain damage. When they told her this, they said, "Well, we saw a little bit of brain damage on the MRI, but don't worry. It wasn't in a part that she needed." 1 or 2 months pass, she still has headaches. They decide to do a lumbar puncture. This is when they put a needle into her spinal canal, collecting cerebrospinal fluid to see how high the pressure is in her brain. It comes out as in the 60s range, but the normal is in the 10 range. That once happy and carefree girl was gone. They just told her to be happy, but how could she be happy when no one believed her daily pain wasn't just made up? From medication to natural remedies to multiple doctors, she tried and seen everything. They didn't believe she had just a headache, assuming she made it up. Doctors would do as old classmates did and not believe her, saying she was lying, blaming everything on depression. Soon, that girl started to believe she was crazy little by little. But her mom never gave up. One day, her mom was watching a video with one of the top neurologists in Florida, speaking about hydrocephalus and the procedures he performs. Long story short, the mother emailed that doctor asking for his help for her daughter. Since his schedule was fully booked, he recommended one of his friends to help. The mother and daughter saw the doctor. He told them the girl needed a VP shunt. This was concluded after the neurosurgeon saw her MRIs and her lumbar puncture findings. There was still a huge amount of fluid building up even after the Chiari malformation decompression. She then went in to get it placed. The VP shunt would go from her brain and end in her stomach. The tubing would transport the excess fluid into her stomach and she would pee it out so it wouldn't build up. After having the procedure, she was fine. A couple months later, she started to have headaches again, so she was admitted into the hospital. The doctor made her do a lumbar puncture first, then if fluid level was okay, she would get something called a DHE treatment. A DHE treatment is also known as DHE45, dihydrogotamine. It is used to treat cluster migraines. It can be treated through IV in hospital or outpatient through nasal spray. This was going to be used since they found the girl had both cluster migraines and pressure headaches, so they needed to make sure the high pressure wasn't the culprit before they advanced to other treatment. After a successful lumbar puncture, the fluid was fine, so that meant the problem was a cluster migraine. So the girl stayed in the hospital for 8 days and had the treatment through IV every 8 hours. She left the hospital with no headache. This lasted for a couple of months, almost a year, until she started to get massive headaches again. So she went into the hospital again, and after going into the procedure, they found that the shunt was completely busted. So they put a new one in. After a couple of months, head hurts again, and they go in to see what the problem is. They saw the valve needed to be replaced, and since then the girl gets head pain every so often, but for the most part, that girl is in a better place mentally and physically. She learned to cope with her daily chronic pain and now loves every single thing about herself, inside and out. She gets better grades, volunteers, and makes an effort to live life to its fullest. She has learned how precious life is and knows, or at least learns, her own purpose. One goal she strives to complete every day is to make at least one person smile. She can't thank her mother enough for believing in her when no one else did and taking care of her, but she tries. Now, you may be thinking, who is this girl finally? Well, this girl is me. Thank you for listening to my story and caring. I don't let my illness define me. I let my soul and heart define me. If you have or have had problems loving yourself or suffering from depression, stay strong and know your family, friends, and I love you. Love you, goddesses. Wear your crown, not a frown. My name is Angie, and this is my story. P.S. Recently, my mother found that there is a lawsuit against a Gardasil vaccine I got at 11, before I started getting sick a couple months later. We both fully believe it was the cause of it all since I was a healthy child before then. I am not against all vaccines, but please do your research before getting this vaccine.